So what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Thank you very, very much for joining. We are going to get straight into things today. It's good to see you. So guys, today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different, and I think it goes without saying that with a lot of the things I've spoken about recently, it's been mainly Inition stuff. And I feel like for today, we're going to mix things up, and I'm going to speak about something a little bit different. And whilst this is not Onision, it is somebody who's arguably just as problematic as he is. This person, of course, is Jessica Yaniv. Which, it's gonna be interesting today. And mainly we're going to be speaking about this whole gynaecologist situation that's kind of unraveling on Twitter currently. Obviously, other people have spoken about it and have kind of spoken in detail about what's really been going on. But I thought I'd offer my perspective on the situation, and I do want to definitely thank one of my supporters out there for really helping me get this all ready. They actually did some work and prepared, honestly, some very, very helpful stuff for me. So I definitely do appreciate that person. If that person wants to come forward and take acknowledgement for that, then they're very welcome to do so. But they don't have to, of course. I find it interesting that people are calling Jessica Yaniv Jonathan. I'm assuming that's Jessica Yaniv's pre-transition name, right? Is that like an appropriate way to refer to Jessica? I'm aware that Jessica. A lot of people believe that Jessica is not actually a part of the trans community, and is not a good representation of that community. Is that why you guys are referring to Jessica as Jonathan? Is that why? Am I right in saying that? Interesting. But yeah, guys, welcome to the stream. If you're just joining in now, don't worry, you haven't missed anything yet. We are going to be jumping into what's going to happen today. It happened more recently, my apologies. And it's not just Jessica Yaniv, or Jonathan Yaniv, depending on how you guys feel about it, JY, right? It also involves Blair White, and it also involves Ricky Gervais too, which is interesting. I never knew that Ricky Gervais was like involved in stuff like this. And I know that he's become very, very kind of big on social media, i.e. he's like talking... He's involved in a lot of like Twitter conversations. He's involved in a lot of like political conversations too. And it's just interesting to me that like real celebrities are now becoming like online celebrities. It's almost like the like 10 years ago, there was a clear difference between being an online celebrity or being like a YouTuber and being like an actual like famous actor or a famous singer. And now the lines are more blurred. Like people genuinely look at people like, for example, Jeffree Star, James Charles, Shane Dawson. They look at these people like they are like superstars, and that's something that's actually kind of happened more recently, I would say. And that's at least my perspective, but it's kind of become like a more kind of accepted thing, and I think it's really, really cool. It is really surreal, yeah. And now you've got like genuine celebrities, like actors and singers, who are now becoming online figures. They're now like making YouTube channels and they're becoming live streamers, and it's just interesting to me that they are now becoming what people on YouTube are. It's interesting. Shane is a superstar, yeah. So it's just an interesting subject, to say the least. We got some very, very strange comments in the chat from some complete cucks, i.e. Woody. But no, I'm not one of those. Philip has talked to his lawyers about his latest video. It should be about Onision, I assume. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like you necessarily need to worry too much about Onision anyway. Like, I don't think he's going to be suing anybody or anything like that. That's even if Onision has money, and I mean, I think he definitely does have money right now, but does he want to be investing that money in lawsuits? And if he was going to sue anybody, I think he'd probably sue Chris Hansen. Like, that's the person he'd probably go for. Chris Hansen probably... Actually, I don't even know if Chris Hansen has the money for it. But anyway, let's jump into this. So, the whole story today is that recently, Jessica Yaniv, Jonathan Yaniv, however you want to describe him, JY, right? JY went on Twitter and put out some tweets speaking about a very, very touchy subject. And I mean, there's lots of people who are like social media stars or online stars and just celebrities in general who use social media to rant and complain about things in their life. But this is a little bit different. It's not just something that's kind of trivial, something that's kind of able to be swept under the rug. It is something a little bit different, and I want to show you guys exactly what it is. So this is the first part. This is the first part of the conversation. And it goes as followed, everybody. It goes as followed. So a gynecologist office that I got referred to literally told me today that we don't serve transgender patients. And me being me, I'm shocked and confused and hurt. Are they allowed to do that legally? Isn't that against the college practices? So that was the first message, right? And Jessica Yaniv, JY, followed up by stating, gynecologists form a part of a multidisciplinary team who engage with transgender and non-binary patients, either as part of a transition stage performing surgery or managing pre- or post-transition gynecological problems. The CPSBC have confirmed to me that the refusal I received is, let's go down a little bit, discrimination under the BC Human Rights Code and against their code of ethics. So the main issue I have with this is I'm pretty sure JY has their cock and balls. And I don't know if everybody realises this about gynecologists, but it's mostly and mainly centred and focused on the reproductive system of a woman. So it literally, I'm very, very confused. I'm very, very, very confused. I want people here to help me out because this is, I don't know, this is confusing to me. This is confusing to me. So the fact of the matter is you need to have a vagina and have a reproductive system to really make use of a gynecologist. And that's not, I don't see that as being discrimination. Because you actually, like, as far as I would be aware, you wouldn't need that. You wouldn't need to do that. So it's yeah, you need a vagina for it, right? So it's like, it's pretty evident to me, guys, and I'm just saying this right now that Jessica is trying to instigate some sort of lawsuit. Jessica is trying to instigate some sort of malpractice or conflict, and it's also very, very clear to me that Jessica Yaniv is a fucking troll, and it seems that their trolling has blown up in their face. So, after this point, this is what Jessica states. So, I'll file a complaint with you today about that clinic. Trans people need to be included, not excluded from society. Pre- and post-gender affirming surgery care is super important. But that doesn't make it... Are gynecologists actually involved in any of that? Wouldn't that be, does that make any... I mean, obviously, I wouldn't really know the ins and outs of the steps that it took to change your gender. But if you become a woman, that's fair enough that you can legally become a woman, but you will not have the reproductive organs of a woman. And that's the main focus on gynecology. At least from what I've established from my reading, from what I read before this live stream, and what I've just known about that in general over the years. So it's... yeah, I don't understand how a gynecologist could help in that situation. And as far as I'm aware, Jessica hasn't got that far. Yeah, maybe after, but is Jessica post? I don't think that's the case. Yeah, there's a lot of people in the chat actually disagreeing and saying that you wouldn't go to a gynecologist afterwards. But some people do think that. Maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, let's continue. So Blair White continues this off by saying, you don't go to a gynecologist if you don't have a vagina. You don't go to a repair shop if you don't have a car. Stop trying to fucking bully people into touching your privates. That is literally what Blair White posted on Twitter. Yeah, so Jessica Yaniv, Jonathan Yaniv, pre-op. So it's not necessary. Sorry for the previous comment, I was getting hyped up. Woody, you literally just said, you basically asked me if I was a paedophile. So, I don't know how that's you getting hyped up, you fucking idiot. Let's just being honest, mate. But anyway. Yeah, Blair White's response is a bit much. I know that like Blair White and Jessica Yaniv have problems, so I get it. Like if you really don't like somebody, you are gonna, you know what I mean? You're gonna really fucking clock them, aren't you? And honestly, that is the like vocal equivalent of just knocking somebody out of one strike. It's yeah, fair enough, Blair. But yeah, so it continues on. Obviously, and now Ricky Gervais gets involved in this, and I think this is... honestly, I've seen Ricky Gervais get involved in a lot of things, but not usually stuff like this, so it's interesting to see that he's actually more involved. I actually really like Ricky Gervais. I love he's one of my favourite comedians, for example. I love the fact that he is, like, pro... actually, sorry, I'm getting things confused. He's anti-animal cruelty, for example. He's a good dude. I like him. So anyway, he posts this and he says, who is this Ricky dude? Ricky Gervais. He's a very famous British comedian, and he's known for a lot of reasons. So we got Cecilia in the chat, who's like a bit much. Yaniv is a fucking pedo. Who cares? Well, I said it was a bit much. I didn't say it was a lot of much. I just think it was a bit too on the nose, but you know, if you guys disagree with me, I don't care. But I understand the perspective of that, I suppose. So anyway, Ricky states, it's disgusting that a qualified gynecologist can refuse to check a lady's cock for ovarian cancer. What if her bollocks are pregnant? She could lose the baby. I'm outraged. And I'm literally like, yo, I think, I think she might have been a bit much. And then Ricky's response. Yikes, man. I was genuinely thinking about being a bit more on the nose of the title of the stream, but I didn't really know if it would be a good idea. Those pregnant bollocks, yeah. So, no, but, like, Ricky, even though Ricky is really just, like, he's getting really full on into his comedy with that, it's like, he's telling the truth. It's legit. I don't know what else to fucking say about it. And it kind of follows up with a conversation with Ricky kind of following on by saying, damn, the sex pest troll deleted their tweet. My reply looks mental now. Should I delete too, or leave it there as some weird cryptic fossil imprint? And Blair responded, saying, I'm leaving mine up because it's hilarious out of context. And it kind of follows up with Ricky stating, the weirdest moral argument I've heard from someone who knew Yaniv was a pervert, but was concerned that ridiculing her made all trans people look bad. Insane. It's like imposing a blasphemy law. And it follows up, Lamau, it would make... I say Lamau, by the way, guys. Lamau, it would make trans people look far worse if there was no pushback. I'm not letting that bovine kitty diddler represent me. Bovine kitty diddler, guys. Oh, my God. Exactly, right. Kind of follows up with this. Somebody kind of outing JY, saying you deleted your tweets where you falsely claimed a gynecologist refused to serve you. And JY responded, wasn't false, my phone was blowing up. And then somebody else responded, why are you always lying? And it literally says in the Daily Mail, which honestly you shouldn't necessarily believe the Daily Mail to be like completely factual, but let's read this. It says, in a statement, CPS-BC said, college staff never offer opinions on specific situations discussed over the phone with patients. As is normal practice, staff refer callers to practice standards to guide them in making their own decisions about whether or not to file a complaint against a physician. In this instance, the caller was directed to a practice standard, access to medical care, which addresses discrimination. This in no way was a validation. So basically what they're saying is like, you can say that you feel like you've been discriminated against, but we did not agree with that. We did not say that we had discriminated against you, and we do not believe that we have discriminated against you. That is literally what the outline to that is. So, whilst maybe a very small number of people may agree with JY and feel like JY's rights were kind of tarnished in this situation, the fact of the matter is, if you've still got your cock and balls and you're going to a gynecologist who specifically works with the female reproductive organs and the centre, this whole region, guys, you know, then I feel like you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot a little bit, you know. It's fucking stupid. But yeah, anyway, let's bring it back and let's discuss this a little bit further. Let's bring it back to the good old mountain that we got here, guys. Beautiful mountain. But anyway. But yeah, one thing I do really want to say, and as we're kind of going over all of these kind of statements, I think there are definitely a community of people who are like, if you say anything out against trans people, you're transphobic. It's honestly, and that happens in all instances, all situations. Like with any minority, these things can happen. And I think people need to be a bit more self-aware about other people who have or are trying to involve themselves in their community. Because there are people like Jessica Yaniv out there who do make a wider margin of people look bad. And it's the same for every community. Every single, and it's not. I'm not just talking about the LGBTQ plus. I'm talking about like all like groups and all parts of society. There are people out there who make others look bad, and I know sometimes it feels like you just got to protect the rights of everybody, but as much as you may point and say to other people and say, "Yo, you're being a bigot," actually, the person who's doing that, who's allowing that, like, who's defending the behavior of people who are doing fucked up and idiotic things in their community, that actually makes you a bigot. That doesn't make the person who's criticizing a bigot, unless they are being offensive or spiteful or horrible towards the group of people who they are involved, you know, who they are a part of, right? That's what would make them a bigot. It is a touchy subject, but I don't really give a fuck. And, like, if anybody, like, I don't give a fuck if anybody, like, disagrees with me or has a go at me about this, because it's, like, I'm being rational. And if you don't agree with that, in my opinion, and I don't like to give people ultimatums, but you're being irrational. And that's simply it. But I do agree with you, Kaylee, that I don't want that to be the case. I don't want people to think that an entire group of people are dangerous or are or anything nasty, right? That's not what I don't think any of us want that. Unless we are genuinely people who just want to see the world burn, right? But that's one thing I've really noticed about society, and we see it everywhere. We see it like out in the street. We probably see it in our own families. We see it at work, at school, everywhere. we see people who are fucking irrational, people who are delusional, and people who just don't open their eyes and see that poor representation can really make the wider group look very, very bad. But yeah, like, it doesn't mean that you need to be a part of the hate to be rational. It just means you don't need to be a part of the defense. You know, that's yeah. Shut up, Woody. Shut up, Woody. You're on thin ice, all right? After your previous comments. Yeah, well, YouTube schizophrenic. That's not like you shouldn't say things like that because that's a sweeping statement, and it's not like that. You shouldn't say the LGBT community have started sexualizing kids because it makes everybody who's a part of that community look like they're sexualizing kids. What you should say is maybe over the last 4 years or so, there's been a growing issue with a small margin of people from that community sexualizing kids. That would probably be a better way of saying it because at least that's more realistic and more factual. And I think that's a real issue. That is a real issue that people are jumping to conclusions and making statements that are very, very damning. Just like what Woody posted earlier. And that's... Yeah, well, Heather, I'm not really, like, obviously, it's easy for me to say this because I've said this many times, guys. Straight white male, right? But, like, I don't do labels. I don't do labels in my life. I don't need to. And I understand why other people want to or need to have a label, but I do not like to attach myself to things. And I could, like, I mean, there have been times where I was, like, back when I was younger, in social circles, I'd refer to myself as, like, an emo, or I'd refer to myself as a scene kid, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, like, but, like, I just stopped doing that, because it's, I just didn't need to. It's for that, but that's a me thing. That's a me thing, not a you thing, guys. Like, I don't need to. I'm just me, right? I'm Loki. Yeah, and Space Monkey, you're completely right, actually. You're completely fucking right. Like, it isn't, like, even saying shit like that, even saying, oh yeah, the LGBTQ plus community have been doing, you know, bad things. Like, everybody's doing bad things. Every fucking group is doing bad things. Like, what are you doing? What the... Oh, God, you know what I mean? Like, there are so many groups of people who are like, don't ever apologize for being a straight white male. Well, you'd be surprised, Caesar, but there is a minority of people out there who are very quick to just attack and make sweeping statements about white straight men and how we have ruined the world and we are bad people. I don't really want to get into that with this live stream today, but it's just like, sometimes I read these, and it's usually like, I don't like saying this term, but it is a real thing. Feminazi. A feminazi, somebody who is extremely feminist, and they are a man-hater. I literally see posts like that on Twitter, and it actually makes me sad. It actually makes me sad, and I don't respond because I'm not going to argue, but I actually see the things that they post, and I'm like, you know what? I do agree, there are definitely a lot of men out there who suck. But there are allies too. And there are men out there who are good, who are kind, who are considerate, who treat women, in my opinion, adequately, fairly. So it's like, just as there is a small group there are women out there who do not treat men well, you know, the men who harp on about shit like that are referred to as being, like, you know, bigots and, like, women haters and shit. It's just, I don't know. I feel like people focus too much on what makes us different instead of focusing on what makes us similar. As important as our differences are, and it makes us unique, it's the similarities that bind us. It's the things we have in common that connect us and make us one. I don't know. Maybe I'm not making any sense from what I'm saying, but, like, that's at least the way I look at it, right? But that's my perspective. It's easy for me to say that, isn't it, guys? It is really easy for me to say something like that. But anyway. But I'll tell you guys right now, no matter who you are out there, whether you're a man, a woman, whether you are non-binary, whether how old you are, it doesn't matter. You are welcome here. And I want you guys to all know that. That's very, very important. Unless you're a nonce. If you're a nonce, fuck off. You're not welcome here if you're a nonce. But everybody else, what's going on, guys? Or a murderer. Or a murderer. Nothing like that. None of that stuff. I don't think there's any murderers watching me right now. But yeah. Making sense to me. Yeah, unless you're a murderer, right? Oh, God, yikes. I feel like everyone is so focused on wanting equality instead of embracing what makes us different and special and loving it. No, I think equality is really important. I feel like, you know, there have been hundreds of years where women have been treated unfairly and different ethnicities have been treated unfairly. And whilst these things, these stigmas were allowed back in the medieval times and in the colonizational period and kind of pre 21st century, we have moved to a point, our consciousness, where I feel like we need to be more embracing of one another and we need to come together as a people and we need to start to love and respect one another more. And I just think that's important. Oh yeah, if you eat pineapple on pizza, devil, evil. What can I say? Oh, go subscribe now? Thank you very much. I don't know why your comment was like blocked. I know why Alex's comment was blocked. For some reason, Alex, you put engorged clit, which is kind of unnecessary for my live streams, isn't it? Isn't it, Alex? I don't know. You tell me. YouTube schizophrenic, you're actually scaring me with some of your comments today. Like, killing people doesn't make you bad. Like, what is this shit? It doesn't make you bad, but it makes you somebody who I want to kind of hide from, I'd say. Somebody I want to stay away from. Because it's all about morality. And if you're like an immoral person, then you're somebody, I don't fuck with that. But I like it here. Oh, you like pineapple on pizza? Yikes. But yeah. So guys, yeah, honestly, I feel like I went to like a little bit of a rant. I feel like it had a purpose in this subject. But I felt like it was important to kind of speak on Jessica Yaniv today. I feel, whilst I don't really like talking about the trans community, I feel like I'm not as aware as other commentators are on the trans community. Maybe I should educate myself more in regards to that. But I'm a commentator who doesn't necessarily really like to talk about things unless I know what I'm talking about. Because that makes me feel a lot more confident about what I'm saying. It means that I'm a better source, right? If I'm somebody who has no idea what I'm talking about and I literally just go blah, 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 literally what's coming out of my mouth isn't words, it's horseshit. And I do not want to be... I don't want people to see me like that on YouTube. So, it's very important. But anyway... Safe to say I don't fuck with murderers. Yeah, you're a murderer, get away. But yeah. I've heard a lot about Jessica Yaniv, and I think there are obviously a lot of you guys here who are like, pedo! And like, I know bits and pieces of that, but I don't really want to get into that today. I don't feel like it's necessary of me. I feel like that's already been spoken about by a lot of people. But you guys know me, I don't support or respect people who take advantage of others, no matter their age. And if they are young, then it's, in my opinion, I would say it's even worse. But either way, it's still bad. Anyway, so guys, I made a bit of a mistake today. I kind of ate my McDonald's before I went live, because I got it a little bit early. But yeah, I appreciate it, guys. I wouldn't say it's been a great day. I've actually had a pretty shitty day today. I.e., like last night was really shit. But today's been a bit better, and it's nice to be here today and hang out with you guys. So thank you very much for joining me for my live stream. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Banana on a margarita pizza? Absolutely not. Ew, banana on pizza? It's worse than pineapple, man. Jeez. Yeah, I had a singular McDonald. It was great. But yeah, I've been going through some fucking shit. Yeah, sorry for calling you a pedo. That's random and rude. Well, like, if you're gonna call somebody, if you're gonna insult somebody, you might want to like say something that's a little bit like less on the nose. I don't think people realize that if you start making false accusations like that about people, it can ruin people's lives. You know, so I think you've got to, just because you're somebody who's a bit anonymous and people don't really know you, doesn't mean that you should be saying things like that unless you have credibility to what you say. Yeah. But anyway, so I'm going to finish up this live stream because I want this to be something that people can digest very, very quickly whilst they're like on their lunch break, or you know, they're hanging out, just looking for something to buy some time. They can watch this. But I am going to be doing a low-key after dark tonight. So if any of you guys want to tune in and talk about some other stuff, I actually would like to watch Anision's new video today. So if any of you would like to come join me in maybe 10-15 minutes for a Anision stream and a kind of general talking stream, then you can come join me if you would like to. I'm sure most of you will, but those of you who don't, fair enough. And dude, I just got here. Well, isn't that good then? I have my next stream coming up. You can go watch it. It's all gonna work out, guys. But if you would like to follow my second channel, I do have another channel that I'm going to be working on fairly soon, and I have been promoting it quite a bit recently. It's called The Charlatan, and it is going to be a TTRPG channel and a basically like a voice acting channel for me, maybe some gaming here and there. You're very welcome to follow it. I always have 50 subscribers on that channel, and I don't even have a video. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Is that a patron thing? No. I just got here too, damn it. Sorry, guys. You know when I go live. When I go live. I usually go live at 10, and I was a bit late today, but no, we still got here in time. I will see you guys in 10 minutes for my my Let's Chat stream, where we are. I know the banner's great, innit? I made it myself. But if you would like to watch my my next live stream, my Let's Chat live stream, and we're going to be talking about Anision and other things, come join in. Come tune in. I'll see you guys then. Bye, everyone.